So I thought I'd share some of my experience and my story on working full-time remote from the US. Almost 12 months ago now, I picked up a new role as Director of HR for a digital marketing agency called Pacific Digital. They're based out of San Diego at the time. Now, being new to the country, I wanted to see as much as possible. So I picked up an RV and started making a whole lot of short trips, weekenders to the snow, to the desert. And one of those trips, I just didn't return. Now, I'm not suggesting this is the way you go about it if you would like to go full-time remote, but I was fortunate enough that Pacific Digital at the time had decided to go full-time remote for all of the team members here. So my remote working scenario is a little bit unique in that, yes, it did start in a home office in San Diego, but for the last 5 months, 15,000 kilometers, 16 states, I've been working and living full-time out of a RV. This does bring its own challenges to working full-time remote because you always have to have internet and power. And as you're driving, that is sometimes difficult. So to counter that, I've installed solar panels, multiple battery packs, different internet providers as well, and always searching for those internet cafes just in case something goes wrong. So one of the biggest challenges of working full-time remote is distractions. For me personally, it's arriving at a place like this and then realizing I still have 8 hours of work to complete before I can go out and enjoy it. Working full-time remote from a home like I was in San Diego, and many of my colleagues have expressed the same opinion that distractions are the biggest hindrance to a productive day. Now in the office, many people are working towards the same goal and distractions happen in the lunch break, maybe it's people walking past your desk, but at the home they are heightened. So you really need to be able to clearly define, as mentioned, what is home time and what is work time. Maybe that's a separate room, maybe that's times of the day, whatever that looks like for you to make that a success. So some of the other challenges around having a remote workforce or being a remote team member is actually losing access to that collaborative environment, which is the office. Many ideas and conversations spark up around the office in informal meetings just as you run into people. And this builds into the second problem, is being lonely at your new home office or feelings of isolation. So to counter this, you need to do a couple of things. One is being really proactive and dedicated to having those meetings with various people across the office. Maybe it's a Friday get-together, maybe it's an all-hands, different types of meetings throughout the organization. But also for yourself personally is getting out there and outside of that home office that you've set up for yourself. That might mean a coffee shop a couple of times a week. That might mean scheduled activities with friends and family that you actually can't get out of after work to help build that environment that you still have contact with people day-to-day basis that you're now missing out by not going into the office. So some of the things that I found really important to make sure this is a success is being clearly defined when your work hours are and when your leisure hours are. Now, if you could imagine pulling up to a new state park or a new city or a new beach you want to go and explore, you need to know definitively when your work hours start and end. That is the only way that I've been able to cope with having all of that excitement right outside my window, but also having a workload to manage as well. I think this does two things. Not only does it help set expectations for your management team and when you're going to be online and what your deliverables are, but it helps settle you knowing that you have a time frame that you will be able to go out and explore all of those new activities you've just arrived at. And I think this relates very closely to the home office as well. You need to be able to define when you are at work and when you are at home.